Hello, Cody Day. Please, can you hear me? I guess he does not want to speak. Maybe we'll be dropping it in the chat box. Yeah, that's fine. Hello, George. Good afternoon, please. Can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
My name is George Odubela. I'm aspiring graphic designer.
Please, we can't hear you very well, sir.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I said my name is George Odubela. I'm an aspiring graphic designer. I hope to use and connect with fluent graphic designer.
Right. Thank you very much for that, sir. Hello, Joanne. Good afternoon. Please, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
My name is Joan Ufemo. I'm an aspiring UI UX designer, and I hope to learn more about design from this meetup.
Yeah, welcome. You learn more. Hello, Monday. Good afternoon. Please, can you introduce yourself to us, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm Monday by name, creative director for King's Entertainment Ops.
All right. So you people, you all should please drop your social media handle in the chat box so we can connect with you. Because after this meetup, we still hope to meet with each other elsewhere. So please do well to drop your social media handle in the chat box and let us connect with you. Thank you. So once again, you are all welcome to the design meetup, and I guess you all are happy as much as I am to be part of this event because I'm much more excited. So like I said my name is Irat Adigun from Binkop Dev Center, and I'm an assistant project manager. Yeah, so this event is brought to us by Binkop Dev Center. So I'll be talking more about Binkop Dev Center, like our location, our services, and what Binkop Dev Center is all about. So give me a few minutes, let me just share my screen. Thank you. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, we can.
All right, thank you very much. So this is Binkop Dev Center. So what is Binkop Dev Center all about? So I'll be sharing more light to that. So Binkop Dev Center is a multi-location technology talent development and solution platform. And we have our locations at different places, the one virtually near us here and also in other states. So one of the location we have is Yaba, Lagos State, Ibadan, Oyo State, Kano State, Kaduna State, Ijebu-Igbo, Ogun State, Warri Delta State, and also in United Kingdom. And we are also planning on getting expanded to more locations. Yes. So do well to reach out to us. I'll be dropping some link to each of these services in the chat box. You can do well to click on it. And if you have anyone that that want to participate or acquire or that want to join us, please do well to reach out to them and click on the link I'll be dropping on the chat box. And also, I'll be dropping a feedback form in the chat box as well. Please do well to fill that because I would like to get your knowledge, experience, and if you have any feedback, please do well to fill the form. Yeah, thank you. So, Binkoff Dev Center focuses on 3 key pillars, which is your building tech talent, enhancing tech talent, and building startups. So under these 3 key pillars, we have different services on each of these key pillars. Please confirm if we are still together, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for that. So under the first key pillar, which is building tech talent, we have our Bincom Academy, Bincom Tech Internship, Bincom Tech Apprenticeship, Bincom Global Tech Program. And under the second pillar, we have our which is our enhancing tech talent. So we have our Bincom Tech Network, including community events and projects, just like the one we are having here, which is the Design Meetup, is part of the community events and projects. Also, we have our Light Space, Emigrate Tech Visa, Bincom Mentoring Platform, and Bincom Tech Career Coaching. So under the last key pillar, which is building startup, we have our Labs by Bincom. So before we move to the question and answer section, I will be talking more about the services so you can get to know more about our services, and the link will also be dropped in the chat box. You can do well to reach out to us and apply. Yes. So before we get into the order of the day, once again, if you are just joining us, please do well to drop your name, what you do, and what your expectation is for this event. Please, you can drop it in the chat box and also drop your social media handle so we can connect with you. Also, I'll be giving you an hint while I hand over the floor to the host of the event. I would like us to take a pen and a sheet of paper or jotter so we can try to put something down and take something home, yes, from this event. So I would like to hand over to the host of the event. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Harriet. Welcome once again to today's design meetup, hosted by Bincom Dev Center. My name is Michael Oluwafermi, and I'll be the host for today's amazing session ahead. But trust me, it will be a very impactful and knowledge gaining session. Yeah, so today we'll be talking about something every designer or brand strategist is keen about: how to create scroll-stopping brand visuals in the attention economy. In today's world where people are constantly scrolling and most people have a very short attention span, brands have just few seconds to grab users' attention. So that's what we'll be exploring today: how to grab the user's attention in a very short amount of time with brand visuals. Yeah, so without wasting any time, I'll be introducing our first incredible speaker, Miss Ayomide Abisago. She's a talented product and UX designer with several years of experience. She has worked on diverse projects across various industries. She's currently working with Proprietly, a property management company, where she creates seamless user experiences for the company. So today she'll be giving us valuable insights on how to create scroll-stopping brand visuals in the attention economy. Ms. Amide, you are welcome. Over to you, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'll share my screen now. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm trying to share my screen. Sorry, that's taking a while. I'm trying to.
I don't know. Okay, we can see your screen now.
Okay, yes. Sorry about that. Yeah, so as the topic says, scroll stopping brand visuals and attention economy. So yeah, I will take you through the introduction, background, case studies, mistakes to avoid. Then I'll do a summary like key takeaways, and I'll show some samples. Yeah, so starting with, I would say brands are constantly competing for attention and visuals. And in today's world, we have different brands. You would almost find a direct competitor for every brand. So when I'm saying Uber, obviously we know there's Bolt, we know there's InDrive. When you're saying Piggy Best, oh, I can also use CarryWise. When you're talking of Child Deck for food delivery, you also know of Glovo. So there are various brands that do the same thing. So now the question is, how do they capture user attention? How are they able to stand out and also make themselves different amidst all of this? Yeah, so we would say it's very important that we pay attention to UX, right? But it's also important that we understand that the UI is what will grab the user's attention first. That is what they are going to see first, right? And there's also this law of UX, aesthetic usability effects. It states that users tend to perceive aesthetically pleasing designs as more usable. So when you see a design that looks good, there's a high possibility that you perceive it as more usable compared to one that does not look as good. Right. So we'll see that our UI, the user interface, the way we present it really matters a lot, right? And I would also say creating attention grabbing visuals requires intentionality, it requires curiosity, it requires passion for excellence and not just settling for the barest minimum, right? So, you can start a design and, by the time you just keep on constantly iterating on it, it can always be better, right? It can always get better. It might just be one element you need to add to it. It might be one, it might just be something, it might be as little as, you can think of, and it literally uplifts the old designs. It can be an image, it can be the way you arrange the fonts and I mean the typography in terms of hierarchy, the way you place it, the way you place attention on some copies, the way you now arrange it in terms of hierarchy, right? So there are different ways that we can try to like portray our visual in the best way we can. Yeah, so I'll be talking of the power of visuals, right? So as should I say Mr. Michael said earlier, that users have limited attention span, right? And it's our job to fight for it. So how do you make your brand stand out? Yeah, and I'll be mentioning some key things we can do. So one is high contrast and bold colors. So it's important that we pay attention to the contrasts of our designs. How well are these colors matching each other? How well is it clear? Is it easy for the user to see? We have accessibility websites we can use to check the accessibility of the colors. For example, this is a green background, right? And I'm using a white text. Clearly, I can see this, right? And imagine I use another color that does not have good contrast with this green background. It will be difficult for me to see, and there's no way I can even catch your attention if I'm still struggling with bad contrast, right? So before I go, I would like to confirm if you can still hear me, please.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you very much. So the next one will be eye-catching typography. So it's important that our fonts are easy to read and also distinctive. So I did a simple example here. So this is a simple font, right? It's important that we don't just use any type of fonts. We need to pay attention to the type of fonts we use, while also understanding that we need to consider the field we are working with. For example, let me just use this simple example. It's not exactly design related, but I'll just use that. If I'm creating a resume, right? I'm sure we all know what we call handwriting and cursive fonts. If I'm creating a resume, I do not want to write my experiences and write anything at all on that resume with cursive fonts, because by the time I submit that to an employer, it gives up a particular vibe, right? And you don't want that. So it's important that the field you're working in, the industry. So we have food tech, we have fintech, we have prop tech, we have health tech, we have ed tech. There are different industries, there are different types of also I know that there are graphic designers here. So there are different industries you might be working in. So it's important that you understand the industry also you're working in. For example, I'm trying to create an application for children, right? So you know that the fonts and the typography I would be considering for a children application is different from when I'm trying to design something for, let's say, a fintech. So it's as much as we need to pay attention to the fonts, we also need to understand that the industry we are working in matters a lot in choosing the fonts also. So another point will be emotional imagery, right? So working with emotions is important in helping grab attention. So I added an image here. So this, I don't need to tell you that she's happy, right? It's clear that I'm trying to depict happiness or joy. So imagine I'm trying to depict joy and I just put an image of someone smiling lightly. It might not appeal to the user as much as this image that shows that she's really happy, right? So it's important that we know how to use emotional imagery to catch attention, and also minimal clutter. So we don't want to I have a an image of this somewhere else. When I get there, I would mention it. So we don't want to have too much text. You don't want to fill up your screen with too much of texts, right? So, and even if at all, for example, as I mentioned, that the industry you're working in matters. If at all there's a need to have a lot of text to explain some things to the user, it's important that you space it well, make use of a white space, ensure that the line space and also the spacing between the primary text, the subtext, and everything is well placed such that it's not too much on the user space, right? I'll be going on to the role of branding. So yeah, when we are talking of creating scroll stopping design, we can't ignore the need for having strong brands, right? There are some brands that instantly, when you see it, you just recognize it. You know that, oh, this is this. And how did they get there? They got there through consistency. So when you say branding, right? Consistency in their colors, their fonts, their imagery. There's a tone that each brand tries to pass. There's a tone, there's a message, there's a feel they are trying to pass across. And across all platforms, they maintain consistency. And without great branding, right, even your great visual won't help you build recognition. So it's important that as much as we're looking at creating great visuals, we also understand the need for branding and staying consistent in our colors, in our fonts, in our imageries across all platforms, right? For example, most brands, we see that they have a primary color, some have a primary and a secondary color, some have three colors, but you won't just see them go out of those bounds, right? They know that, okay, this color speaks to this brand. They won't just randomly pick another color to now represent the brand. That's what we call consistency. There's a way that everything just aligns with their brand tone and the message they're trying to pass across. Yeah, so I'll be going on to psychology of engagement, right? How do you drive engagement through design, right? Firstly, it's important to understand that we have to make use of color psychology. And what do I mean? By the time I see the color red, I'm sure that there's no one here that does not know that red means danger. It shows this type of urgency, right? When you see blue, blue means trust. When you see yellow, it depicts happiness, right? So you'd see that for most food brands, you see them use colors like green, you see them use yellow, you see them use maybe orange, because these colors matches the industry they are in. It matches that particular line of, if you talk about maybe fintech too, you see them use shades of blue, right? Because they are trying to depict trust. Although not all brands exactly follow this rule. For example, I would say GT Bank, it's a bank, it deals with money and much more, right? And it's important that they are trying to instill trust in their users, but their brand color is orange, their main color is orange, right? It's possible that they picked the color randomly, or there is a reason behind there's a reason behind why they're using that color. But regardless of that, one thing is sure. GT Bank is orange, and wherever you see anything that relates to GT Bank, you will definitely see a touch of orange there, right? So, staying consistent with it and also using colors to trigger emotions. So another thing is going to be facial expressions. So this is also related to emotional imagery, right? People are drawn to faces, because it shows strong emotions. There's sometimes that you're trying to work on a design, and illustrations won't just work. But when you use a very cool image that shows like a real human, there's a way it brings out the old design and just changes the way it looks. Right? There are times that, yeah, you can get nice illustrations that will speak to that point and give you what you're looking for. But there are also times that you need to help people connect, right? So you use images that matches and suits that line that you're working on. So another point is storytelling. Yeah, so storytelling involves like using compelling visuals with a narrative, how it can capture their attention, right? So I would use an example of an onboarding screen. So for most onboarding screens, right, you would see that either we are using an illustration or you're using an image. The image mostly tallies with the text. So let's say there's an header text that is summarizing what that application is about. There's a subtext and there's an image. You'd see that by the time you read the text and you look at the image, there is a correlation between them. So now you are trying to tell a story with the text and also the image. So that's a method of storytelling. There's a way, for example, I'm trying to talk about security or privacy, right? And I use an image of a padlock or a shield. There's a way like it helps the user connect, right? Then another method is animations. So simple interactions keeps users glued. It's important that we make use of animations while working on our designs. Yeah, then I would be talking briefly on this. So because of time, I'll just go through two of these websites. So I have Piggyvest. You can tell that, yeah, these are one of my favorite brands, right? Piggyvest, they have minimal, clean, and trustworthy. That's the vibe it gives. Chowdeck has this vibrant, playful feel, food-centric visuals. When you look at Grey, you can take your time later to look at it. Grey gives this sleek, modern, and tech-forward. On Netflix, it gives bold, cinematic, emotion-driven visuals, right? And you notice that for these brands, they keep their visuals consistent, emotional, and high quality. They don't just use any type of image. They don't just pick anything and just put it into their design. You see that everything they use are of very high quality, right? So how much more reader are also trying to like build a brand that can speak to people and catch attention. It's important that we stay consistent in all of these things. So I'll just briefly scroll through Piggyvest and Childx application. Let's see if I can. Sorry, can you see my screen, please?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Can you see the presentation or the website?
Yes, I can see Piggyverse, Child Deck, Grey, and Netflix.
Okay. So I would reshare my screen briefly. I'm trying to share something else. Yeah, so can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah, so I will briefly go through Child Deck and Piggyvest. So this is Child Deck's website, right? I don't want to go through the application because that's a long route. We don't have to do that. But for the website, it's something that you can easily look through. You see they sometimes use animations, illustrations, sometimes they have human pictures. But you see how clean and neat the images they are using are. They don't just use random images. And yes, they're a delivery app. This is a rider trying to move around. So even from this, I can pick something. I know that, oh, this is a food delivery application. I can see a rider on a bike, right? They are passing a message, they are telling a story. Meanwhile, there's no text here, but I'm just the one trying to pick what I can pick from what I'm seeing right here, right? And we see how they have a screenshot of their website. So they made sure that they got a high quality screenshots. It's not just a it's not blur, it's not unclear. So it just makes it gives it that very cool feel, right? Their pictures, their everything they are using, the animations, the images, everything is just clean, clear, and it's just going to grab your attention. I'm trying to order food, I'm seeing food, I'm seeing they have different ways of presenting whatever it is they are presenting, right? And when we talk about emotions, using people, this is someone trying to feed this child, this is someone trying to wait for our order, the family, we have different images and how they are communicating messages, right? This is also like just like an illustration now of the map, right? And the image is clear. Everything they are trying to pass across is clear. So I'll just quickly scroll through this because of time. So yeah, that's it. Then for Piggyvest 2, right? So we have an image. So this is someone that, let's say, she just got an alert or something on Piggyvest. So you can see the joy. You can see her smiling. Of course, if I put someone that's excusing her face here, I'm passing a wrong message to the user. I'm not passing the right message, right? Because for Piggyverse, they want their user to feel welcome. They want their users to feel, safe with them. So when we talk about simple animation, you see as I'm moving through the application, it's it's this is just like a simple animation. It's making sure that I feel engaged. I'm also like seeing what is happening. I'm not just scrolling through. I'm not just randomly scrolling through and there's nothing happening, right? So we see how they use very nice colors, bold colors, contrasting colors across the application. Yeah, so I would stop sharing my screen now and go back to the my slides. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So moving on from here, I will be talking of mistakes that I want to avoid. So I added some brands here. So I deliberately had to search for bad websites, right? Or websites with too much text. So for me as a user, if I get to this type of websites, I'm most likely living with anger because what is going on here? Before I can even make sense of everything, because it just looks rough, it looks jam-packed, there's no order, everything is just everything just happened at the same time. For this too, the image, the text, everything is just rough and it feels like a lot is happening, right? It's important that you don't use too much text or use generic stock images and also inconsistent branding. So in terms of as I mentioned, your color, your typography, your 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 image, yeah. Your spacing. So as little as this element size, it's important that it stays consistent all through. Yeah, so in summary, right, the key takeaways will be it's important that you stand out visually. And as I mentioned earlier, that creating designs that are scroll stopping requires passion for excellence, curiosity, and not just settling for the barest minimum. It's important to always want to iterate and make it better. It can always be better than what's you have. It can be just one little element you would add to it and it's just change the entire look. Another one is use contrasts, bold typography, and motion to grab attention. Then another point is leverage short form videos, animations, and GIFs. Then test, track, and optimize your visuals. So yeah, I would also be giving very simple samples. Yeah, so these are some of the works I've done, right? So this is just a section of a particular website I designed for Lotus Bank, and this is this is just like a subsection of the website. Imagine I just used a blue plain color, then I added this text. I'm passing a message. Yeah, of course, I'm passing a message that's there. But now, if I place that beside this that has someone that is smiling, that looks like, oh, she's using this product and she feels good about it. And I'm also saying this message. I'm telling a story, I'm passing a message, right? This is also another subsection. So initially, I had just the primary color for that site was purple, right? And I had just a plain background. But at some point, I'm like, okay, what if I had an image beneath it? So not just so for this one, I did like two sections. So the lady is by this side, text is by this side. So, but for this one, what if I have an image in the background? So if I should turn off the image in this background, you would see how plain it looks. But by the time I turn on the image, you would see how it just changed the entire look. So that's what I mean by just that little element you want to add. Just that, although there's a need to strike a balance. We don't need to always overdo things, right? There is a limit to overdoing it, then making it look better, right? So yeah, another one that I would mention is sometimes it might just be sticking to what you need to stick to and making it as clean and clear as possible. So I was trying to design a blog site, and of course, it's a blog. There will be texts. I need to pass the information I need to pass. So I made use of tags instead of having everything written out as texts. I had tags at some points. I spaced it well. Make use of a white spacing. Stay consistent. It will still come out as clean. It will still come out as clean as you need it to be. Then for this one, I will be talking about how sometimes you see that you need to decide and understand when to use different things. For this particular site I was working on, the um, the illustration was not giving the message I wanted it to give, unlike the image. So I was trying it out. I have the illustration here, I have the image here. I was trying to look at what the both of them will look like and which one to go with. So for me personally, I feel like we're talking about property. Instead of using this illustration, I feel like this image of a property is going to pass that information clearer, right? So I stick to this, and my boss also agreed with me on that. So at some point, it might just be what do you think would help you tell your story better? What would help you connect with your audience better? I'm trying to tell my user to add a property, and they are seeing an image of a property. Although there are also illustrations that can also clearly pass that point that yes, you're trying to add a property, but there are sometimes that you need to also know when to stick to clean images. So for my images, I use Pexel, I use Unsplash. So you can download very clean, clear images on there. You don't need to, it does not take a lot. And yeah, I think I'll be stopping at that. Thank you for listening, and that would be all for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Amide, for that impactful and insightful presentation. I know we all took some key takeaways from that presentation. I also took like some of the key takeaways that I got from the presentation was that grabbing attention is not just about making things look good, but it requires intentionality, curiosity, and a deep understanding of branding, user engagement. Um, Another key takeaway I took from the presentation is the role of branding. Great visuals alone are not enough. For like consistency in color, in fonts, and imagery helps to build recognition. You also used case studies of brands like Piggyvest, Chowdeck, Netflix, and Grey. Yeah, thank you very much once again, Miss Aramide. Um, with that being said, I know we all have questions for Mr. Emide, but I would like us to note them down, or rather, we type it in the chat box, because we'll be having our question and answer session immediately after the second speaker's presentation. Yeah, with that being said, I'll be introducing our second incredible speaker, Ms. Lawal Sofiat. Ms. Sofiat is a seasoned product and UX designer with a passion for creating visual stories. Um, with experience working on websites and mobile apps for businesses and startups, she understands what it takes to create designs that truly connects with the users. Today, she'll be sharing her insights on how to make your brand visually unforgettable in an era where attention is constantly fleeting. Yeah, so Miss Sophia, thank you. You're welcome. Over to you, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that presentation and welcome me. Thank you, our speaker. Yeah, thank you very much for that wonderful insights you shared with us. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen now so that we can start properly. Can I see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, but
That's
it's,
nice.
it's loading.
Okay. How about now?
It's coming up, but it's not yet visible. It's coming up.
Is it okay? Okay, so my name is Laura Sophia. So obviously, let me just take you through my journey a little bit. I started with graphic design, then also transitioning to UI UX design too. And the journey has been really nice, and there's a lot of experience and learning challenges and everything. But thank God we are here today. Thank you, Mike, here for that wonderful welcome. Yeah, well, thank you for that. All right, so I was talking today is talking about sport stopping brand visual in the attention economy. So I have a question for us before we start fully. So it's not something that is hard, something that we all know about too. So the question I have is, yeah, okay. Okay, so now we know that for we are all designers, and I also add someone saying aspiring, so we are still in the same track too, even though maybe you want to join or you are in there. So how do you see design visual that captures attention and drive engagement? That's my question. But just let us, you should know what we are here for. One. Then my question is, how long do you think the average person spend looking at an image on a social media before scrolling? So this is the question. How long do you take it to look at an image on social media before scrolling? Someone to ask that this question, please. Hello.
I'll be using myself as an example. For me, for example, I use, let's say, 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 3 seconds before I scroll or before I leave the page. Except if it's a like an eye-catching design or an eye-catching image, then I can spend more time to like look at the information um that's in the image.
Okay, any other person? Thank you. Any other person? Hello. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I want one more person to talk. Like, we are all designers, so and we've been designing or we've been seeing some designs on social media. So let's talk. Are we shy?
Okay, so for me, um,
Okay.
good afternoon. So for me, it's I concur to what he said, but as I'm scrolling, I just keep scrolling. Sometimes it takes like less than a second for me to just scroll, unless if it's something catching or probably something that I actually am interested in, that I can just like pause a little bit, then just skim a little bit before I now continue scrolling. So that's for me.
Okay, thank you. All right, so with what we just said, just let us know that it's not only about what you design. It's only you have to also check what content, what's the message, the communication that this thing is also passing before you can allow a user to, okay, let me see, stay a bit longer, or rather than I should scroll up and I'm not more there. So with what we said, less than 2 seconds, if you're, you can just, okay, this is not okay, and move. But when you're using more than 2 seconds, that means that there is something that is catchy. There's something that's got your attention in that design that you want to, okay, let me check. Maybe it's the way they did the animations, or maybe the way the design is or something. So if there's something that will make you to stay back rather than scrolling away from the website or away from the design. So this means our design must command attention instantly. So that's one thing I should say, is that you are not there to tell your users that, okay, the reason why I use this image is because of so you're not there. So that's why you need to design something that when they see it, they understand what you are saying. With, I used to say this, your content and your image should align together. That is the communication. That's the story that you are trying to pass. If your image and your content is not aligned, one, you are confusing your users. Two, for people that, don't forget that we are designers who will be there to check, to see your work. It's not only maybe all these people that are not designers and you think maybe they'll not understand, they will not check it. No, we have to do something that is perfect. Like, what I mean perfect is, before you send it out, you have to do something that is perfect, that people can say, wow, this is what we are talking about. So that is one thing we need to know, that anything you are posting, your design you are posting, it's giving them it's passing a message to them. It's giving them one thing or the other. There's something that they want to grab from that design. One thing. So let's continue with what we have here. So I just this one just show the the illustration about when you are scrolling and the likes, you understand. So another thing is when they like your design, they will give you on your social, maybe you post it on your social this thing, they will give you some likes or comment on it. So that's just what this illustration is too. And now let's now go deeper into what we are here for. Understanding the attention economy. Please, can you see me?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you.
All right, thank you. So
Yes, we can hear
understanding
you. We
the
can hear you.
attention. All right, thank you. The attention of the economy. So now don't forget that we are here to now as a brand. There's something that keeps your brand still relevant. Is because maybe the way you make your product more awareness, or maybe the way you market your product, or maybe the way you sell, let me anyone. So the attention economy is a marketplace where consumer attention is the most valuable resources. So you need your users to maybe to take one or two things. Maybe you want them to join, just like this meetup now that we have now. We want them to join us so that we can come here and learn something. It's also one of the marketplace. Maybe you want your product, you want them to download your app. It's also another market. Maybe you want them to take an action in any action. So that thing needs to show in your design. Needs to show in your design. So now statistics says that women now have an 8 seconds attention span less than a golden fish. So anything you want to do, let it have this attention that okay, this person will be able to take this action immediately. So if you are giving them another thought, like maybe you want them to come back again and cross-check, that means that there is something there that is not okay. So social media users scroll the height of the infrastructural daily. So you see that everybody, we are online, we are checking something one way or the other, we are scrolling. Anything that makes your users stop, or anybody your users stop on your particular design or your particular product, that means that that thing has already grabbed their attention. Because yes, that is grab their attention. So and brand must fight to stand out. Yes, and one of the things that makes you stand out is when you have your brand guidelines, like your brand style. There's no how you are in one maybe you're on any product and you cite a product, you know that this is these people, this is GT, this is Zenith, this is any product, maybe this is MTN. There is no how you, even though before you read their information, what is on their flyer, you will know that okay, this is because what they make use of their brands. That's one alone has made them to stand out. I used to use a particular um flyer that there is no how we want to, and that is also one of the consistency in brand. A particular flyer, I think is tech for deaf. So there's no how you want to, if I see the design once, I know that it's tech for deaf because it's consistent and they make use of that consistency. So that is just to tell you that this is a brand that is standing out. It's not like because of so there's one Disney. Every brand has its own style, if you all know that. So you have to have a style that will make us stand out. So that's one of the things we also need to know. And so moving forward, let's so I hope you can see my screen. because I think I'm having network issue. So this was
Yes, we can
the
see.
what woman. All right, thank you. It was the 8 seconds attention span that's to grab people's attention. So if with after this 8 section, 8 second that your users did not grab their attention, that means that it's not giving enough things that you want them to give. Yes, it's not. So another thing is what makes a visual scroll stopping. Yeah, and one of it is emotional evocation, evocative. So this does it spark curiosity? Yeah, so that's one of the things. If your design does not make them feel what's this? How does this person do this? You understand? So that's one of the things that you need to also know. For them to be able to stay on your design, this must give them something. Okay, this design, this is how it's gonna be. This is how they did it. It's curiosity, excitement. Well, this design is nice. Or surprise. Well, this design is so all these kind of things. It will make them to stop. Like they're not just be scrolling like that. And because you want them to stay, you don't want them to just continue scrolling and scrolling. So that has to give them something. It has to give them the emotion that wow, this is nice, this is this and that. It has to give them okay, I can take something from this. On Twitter now, you can bookmark a design. So for you to bookmark a design, it knows that this design is okay. You can get it. You can maybe you can use it later. You understand? So that's one of the things. Visual distinct too. Is it unique? Is it bold? And immediately recognizable. So now if and that's what one of the things that we need to also know that when our design is has all these features in terms of hierarchy. Now when you are using your content, your title is very bold, people can see clearly the message that you want them to see, they are seeing it clearly. So all these things we make them to just stop instead of scrolling and like that. So another thing is message clarity. Does it communicate a key message in 2 seconds? So that's why sometimes we do some mistakes that we want to put too much of content on our design. It's not because it's not everything that we will read. Just give us something that is more that we grab our attention, something that is more catchy, not like giving us too much words and we're not getting the right thing, or maybe where you're supposed to get the information is at the last end. So all these things matter. So does your user see that okay, with 2 seconds now I'm able to understand what this thing is? So we need to also put all these things. We are designers and we need to tell ourselves what we need to do when we are designing, so that it will also help us maybe as a brand to what we need to also do. And also strategic composition. Does it lead the highs to the um call to action or important details? Now maybe you are designing and there are sometimes that maybe you do not have call to action. What do you want them to do? Nothing, is not there. So you have to also put all these things in. It's just like we are trying to draw a layout of what things that you need to put in place. Is it your design is, are we seeing some things that we need to know? The the most important things, are we seeing it there, or everything is just um what we don't need? Because if they are seeing something that they don't need on your design, they will leave, they will just scroll up. So we also need to take note of that. And how are we positioning it? How are we making that um call to action more visible? Because sometimes it may be there but they are not seeing it, or they are not getting the right information there. Now okay, this is what, and again too much of content too, maybe it's something that's able to use short call to action, you're using too much and not. So we also need to strategize in all these parts too. So the next thing we need to also know is okay, Okay, so we also need to know that brand, and I also say this, you as a person, I don't say that because of I'm not working with someone, that means that, oh, I don't have a company, that means that I don't need to choose my own brand. You need to choose your brand. So in terms of designing, maybe you want to design a particular design, let them see this thing as, okay, this is what this person is for. Okay, this design, this is your color, this is what you use, and tomorrow don't use another thing else. So these are just illustrations of what is there, what I've already explained there. So the thing now, thank God, yeah. The key elements of high impact brand visual. We all know about color psychology. And for people that are just starting that we don't know, we know that color pass message. Color has its own meaning. And if you are trying to use color too, use colors that will maybe as a brand now, use colors that will resonate with your brand, that will speak for your brand also. So now, how do you now use color? You know, you can use color in different ways. Maybe you're trying to use it in form of a hierarchy, like maybe you want to, the ones that it's most important, you can use color there, and like, so colors has its own meaning. I'm just trying to talk a little bit of color, then going back to color psychology now. Colors has its own meaning. Colors, like now we have red here, and red has different meaning. So I had when I immediately said color, we all know that color is danger. Yes, we know that. It also have its own another meaning apart from danger. Red is also urgency. Blue is trust. Yellow is optimistic. Now, sometimes yellow is also friendly. Yes. So we have different meanings for all these colors. It's just that when you are trying to choose the color for your brand, you need to do research. You need to understand the meaning of that color and the meaning of what your brand is for before you can say, okay, let me choose this color or let me combine this color together. We know about color scheme, how you combine colors, different kind of colors that you can, different kind of color scheme that you can combine in terms of analogous and the likes, complementary colors. You need to also put all this in place. Now, contrast. Now, you see that this slide here has a blue background and there is a light color. And I used to say this, you don't need to stress yourself on how to use color or how to combine color. If you have this little thing, the two things I would say is, if you want to combine color, use this 60-30-10 rule for it. Another thing you also need to know is, when you are designing your light color on a dark background, maybe now a light text on a dark background, a dark um a dark text on a light background. So that's how, so that way you'll be able to know how to use color contrast. Another thing is typography. It really matters, because if you are using a typography that is not clear, is not readable, that means that you're not passing, your users will not get the main information, because it will be too small, or maybe they can't read it. So you need to know how to use color, and you need to know how to choose the right typeface font, like we all know. You need to know how to choose it too when we are designing. And again, now you want to design, maybe there are some different kind of fonts that we can use. You all know that, so I can't be just, but we know you need to know how to choose fonts to use in, because we have you may be designing for maybe e-commerce, and there is another, there's the kind of different kind of font that you can use for different fee industry, like she said too. Maybe you are doing so different kind of, so just do what you need to do is do research, so that you can understand, and also check other brands relating to what you want to do to know what to do. So don't just choose only one brand and say that is all. No, choose different brands. Have enough information, you know what to do. Now, strong images. Don't use images that are not clear. Some people do this mistake of using Google images, but their design is not allowed. It's never accepted. We are trying to click on Google. You see this image may be copyright, so don't use it. It's number one to be blurry. So there are different sites that you can get strong image that have high quality. You can use Freepik, you can use Unsplash, Pezzle, you can use Isabel, a lot of them like that. So people relate to face and emotion more than objects. So and I've also mentioned high quality images, authentic ones. Try to make use of all these things when you are giving us your design, color. All these three things are very, very important. Then we talk about maybe design principles. Maybe you are using white space when you are using all these things. It also matters because if your design is too close together, closer together, you're not giving that you don't allow your users to understand what you are trying to tell them, because they will not pick the things that are more relevant or things that they need to pick, because everything is just too much. Another okay is even yet too. So white space and simplicity. So less clustered is equals to easy to digest information. I've already explained that. Motions and micro interaction. So you don't want your design to just be static. You want it to have some animations. And thank God that I made it show some designs and show some animations too. So that one too works. So that your design will not just be like that. These are the things that will grab your user's attention. And also substitute motion grab attention, just like the GIF, short animations and the like. So that's just one thing that we need. So we are designing, if you're designing for a website and the like, so yeah, you can all these things are necessary. Even though for designs, maybe you're designing for flyers too. And there are some flyers that they have some little motions there. So I used to see that too. Also, everything now trendy too, so you can also make that too. This is just the normal this thing. Yeah, so everything I just explained just there too, and so that not be only text, so we understand what we are talking about. Sorry, can you still hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Am I still all right? Thank you. Now, so let's move to the psychology behind attention grabbing design. So we've all mentioned some things around what grabs your attention and likes, how many seconds, like that. So now, first impression bias, we judge visual in 0.05 seconds. It's not even up to 2 seconds. So immediately you cite the image, the design. If it's okay, you will know. That's the seconds. Immediately you see like this, it has grabbed your attention once, and that is one thing. Another thing is emotional triggers. People engage with content that makes them feel something. I also explained this later, that if that design give you something, like we are trying to, oh well, this is nice, it has given you something that okay, maybe you are able to, maybe you want to reuse it, yes, or maybe the way maybe the way they put the element on it, maybe the way the design is. So that's the emotion, and that is how it grabs the user attention. That's how your design also grabs the user attention. A lot of times when I scroll, wow, this is like, I like it. That's one of the things. So another thing is curiosity gap. Create visual stories that makes users want to learn more. Understand? So now, if we know that we are passing an information with our design, so your designs to also tell them something, to give them a message, to tell a story, different kind of things. And I this also use images that is telling a story, content too. You don't need to, for using image, you don't need to check the content first before you can know what this image is passing. And that is why content and images needs to work in hand, needs to be the same, needs to give us the same meaning. Not like your image is giving us another meaning and your content is another thing else. We are confusing us. We use that. We also use that. Even though we are designer, we are designing fan, but other designers that have done that, we are using that for them. So we are both. So now it needs to tell a story, and it's to say there's something that, okay, from your design here, from this design I have here, there is something that I want to learn from. Maybe it's an emotion, maybe it's the way you slide everything, maybe it's something. So it needs to give us that thing. And like now, I use Twitter, like any design that you see that you want to bookmark, there's something that that designer has given you that makes you to want to bookmark it. You can't just bookmark any design that is not giving you that attention. So yeah. So so that's one of the things that we need to know. My this is kind of delaying, but let's move to the next. So, okay. Now what I've been saying so far. So I move to the next slide.
Miss Sophia, I don't know if you can hear me. We can't hear you clearly again. We'll be waiting for her to rejoin so we can continue with the session. Okay. Um, Without wasting any of our time, I guess she's having network issues or network problems. I know we all learned or we all picked takeaways from her presentation from what she said. Me personally, I learned that powerful designs be can be can capture the user's attention and make the brand unforgettable. She also talked about emotionally evocative designs, visually distinct designs, message clarity, and strategic compositions. She also talked about the psychology behind attention grabbing designs. Um, yeah, with that being said, I know we all have questions, so I would like us to note them down because immediately after the immediately after I hand over to Adigu Ariat, because she has some things to share with us, we'll be having the question and answer session. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, she's back. Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, my network.
Okay, yeah, no problem.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Okay, yes, it's coming up.
Okay, so please, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. So now, common mistakes to avoid is too much text. People scan, they don't read. So we should know that. So don't add too much content in your design, maybe your website, and also overloaded design. Simplicity. Don't add if when it's too loaded, they will not get what they want to get because everything is true. And also, how can we reduce this cluster is by adding white space? How can we reduce, like, make your design not to cluster is by adding white space? And things that are not relevant, information that are not relevant, don't use it. So avoid overloaded. Um, Ignoring mobile optimization, over 80% of content is consumed on mobile. So as we are designing for websites, design the mobile. So that's to show they're responsive. And also don't forget that we use our mobile phone first before we can, okay, let me go and check my system, or let me go and check this website on system. So also when you are designing, don't ignore the mobile version too, and design across all screen. Yes. And another thing is lack of brand consistency. She also mentioned this. I will not be talking too much about that. Stick to cohesive visual identity. Let your brand be consistent. Like, let your front, your let them know you for something. Don't use this color tomorrow. Don't use this color today. And don't say because of there's a particular something that is going on that I'm using this and leave your brand color. No, that's not consistency, and that is not, your brand has in name. Your brand has something that someone is looking out for. So when they say this is a particular color, they know that it is you, it is your brand. So let the consistency be there in your design. So this is just to show us things that maybe designs that are overcrowded. Nothing. We don't understand what it is.
I'm
There's
sorry,
nothing.
you can't hear you again.
You
I
can't
don't
hear
know.
me. Hello, can you hear me now? Hello,
Yeah, I can hear you.
you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Michael, maybe it's on network. Okay, so up you can see my screen too.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
All right, thank you. So this is just what we've just explained about overcrowding, designs, too much cluster together. This explain everything. Too much of tests. So please, redesigners. And also practical strategies for designers. Yes, we need to have feedback from our designs that we have done, and how we can get this feedback is using A/B testing. So now, how do you do A/B testing? You've designed a particular design, you have one design ready, but you're not sure of that design. You also design another design, giving different this thing, and you now send it out for users or anybody to pick for you to choose either A or B. That is A/B testing. So test different designs and track engagement. So with that, they will tell you what, and you can also tell them to explain why they choose it. Then use the blur test. If you blur an image, can you still tell what it's about? So now this blur test now is just to show you that something about hierarchy or something that about information. So if everything blends together when blurred, your design lack contrast and needs better emphasis. So maybe you do not, maybe in your design now we're supposed to use um contrast, bold, and the likes. You do not use it. So you can use this to test maybe it's actually working, so that you know the parts where you need to do the correction to. Another thing is think like a user. Like I said the other time, I said I'm a designer and I'm also a user. So now if I'm designing, I'm designing. So but if I want to test, I need to test like a user. So could you pause to engage with this content? That's one thing you need to know, that okay, now as you now, let's say you are a user, can you pause? That means that instead of you scrolling up, can you pause a bit? That if you are able to pause it, that means that it has grabbed your attention. So this is just a normal this thing. So you need to also, when you are designing, check again, come back to use that part. Don't use your design. So come back to, as okay, if I'm seeing another person design as a user, what is this design giving me? What is this? Yeah, so we need to also ask ourselves that, and that's just one of these strategies that you can use. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
we can hear you.
Okay, so this is just the example of when you blur. You see, this is the main test, but when you blur it, you see that there are some things that you can see. Everything is not blend, that is not does not blend together. So to tell you that you the right informations are in the right place. The contrast is there. Everything is not blur, blur, blur. Everything looks like the same thing. So that is what this image is for. Then, in conclusion, in a world of infinity content, maybe the best design isn't the loudest. It is one that speak clearly. Don't forget, when too much of things is there and we don't know what it is one that speak clearly, emotional, and memorable. So now if your design is able to give them wow, you know that is something. And also you want them to say wow, not this design is, or giving you bad. So one of those things, memorable, they can come back. Anything that is giving them memorable, they can come back to your design and say, let me go and check again. So the first impression that you're giving them is you want them to come back. So if they're able to come back, you've passed that information to them. Then if your design, your information is clear, they understand what it is. Any, like now for the maybe on Twitter and you bookmark your this thing now, you know that you still come back to it. So that's just the example of what I was saying the other time. So yeah. So that is just the this thing there. So thank you for listening. Do you have any? Yeah, I'll be stopping from here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Sophia, for that insightful session. Some I have listed some key things I learned, um, like from visual storytelling to user engagement. Like there are a lot of takeaways from that session. You also talked about psychology behind attention grabbing designs. It has to be emotionally evocative. The message has to be clear, visually distinct. Yeah, thank you very much. Once again. I would hand over to Harriet now. Um, for I don't know if you have something to share with us. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back once again. Please confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much, Ms. Ayomide, and thank you very much also to Mrs. Sophia Lawal for that wonderful presentation. That was very insightful. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. And once again, thank to everyone for taking out of their busy time to be part of this event today. Thank you very much. So just like I said the other time, I will be talking about the services in Binko Dev Center. So give me a few minutes. Let me just share my screen, please. Thank you. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you very much for that. So just like I said the other time, that Binkoff Dev Center is a multi-location technology talent development and solution platform, and we have our locations at different places. And also we focus on 3 key pillars, which is building tech talent, enhancing tech talent, and building startups. So under these key pillars, we have different services on it, which I will be talking about now. And also, while after that, I will be dropping the link to each of these services in the chat box. Please do well to apply, or if you have anyone that wants to apply or needs these services, please do well to reach out to them. Yeah, and share the link with them. Yeah, thank you. So one of the services that I'll be talking about is Bincom Academy. So this Bincom Academy utilizes a Montessori approach in training participants in basic skills needed for the modern technology ecosystem. Then we also have our Bincom Tech internship, which is designed to enable people at intermediate skill level gain mastery and expertise over a period of time. Then we have our Bincom Tech apprenticeship. It is an industrial attachment at various skill level. It's to gain experience and on-the-job training. Then we have our Bincom Tech network, including community events and projects. Just like I said, is this meetup we are having, the design meetup, is part of the community event. So it is just at giving back to the community and building the tech ecosystem. It focuses on informing and exposing the youth to the current technology trends and how to prepare for the future in technology. Then we have our light space. Do you have any events you are planning ahead of, any seminar, conference, or get-together? Please do well to reach out to us. We have a light space which is helpful workspace intended to encourage collaboration and drive innovation in the startup ecosystem. So we have these spaces created and designed for various events, just like I said, seminar, conferences, and get-together. Yeah, please, are we together?
Yes, we are together.
All right, thank you for that. And also we have our Bincom Global Tech Program, which is a solution to launch your tech career globally. It is a 1 to 2 year program focused on 3 key pillars, which is learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. We have our Emigrate Tech Visa, which helps you become globally attractive tech profile or tech-enabled business, and is your tech-enabled pathway to relocation and settlement in countries like UK, USA, Canada, France, and many more. Also, we have our Bincom mentoring platform. It is structured in mentoring solution to help mentors add values to their mentees for the purpose of building globally attractive techies. We have our Labs by Bincom, which is a 3 to 6 month pre-incubator program that brings together the participants to build a digital technology product, which would be used by a real-life user. So our last service here is Bincom Tech Career Coaching, which helps individual to land their next role faster by offering combination of coaching, relevant on-the-job experience, career referencing, introduction to tech recruiters, hand holding through applications and interview process, and much more. Yeah, so I'll be dropping this link to each of these services in the chat box. You can do well to click on it and apply. Then also, I dropped a feedback form in the chat box as well. Please, your feedback matters. It really helps. We need your suggestion, knowledge, or you have anything you want to add to it. Please do well to fill the form as well. Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be handing over to the host of the event. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Arias. Um, yeah, with that being said, we'll be moving over to the question and answer session now. I would like us to either signify or just unmute our mics to ask our questions directed to, like, you see the speaker you are directing the question to, that Miss Ayomide or Miss Sophia. So if we have any question, please, I know we have questions, so let's just unmute our mic and ask them, please. Thank you. Um, I want us to like ask our questions. So, because I also have questions to ask, but I will ask after we've asked. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for our speakers? Okay. I'll take that as a no question, or we can always ask before the end of the session. So I'll go ahead to ask my question, which is directed to Miss Ayomide. Yeah, my question is, with social media and technology, like we all know social media and technology is constantly evolving, like with the trending chat GPT and yeah, how can designers stay ahead and ensure that their visuals remain relevant and engaging? I don't know if you get my question. Mr. Emily, please confirm if you. Mr. Emily, please, we can't hear you. I don't know if we can't hear you at all.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I don't know if it's from my end, but I can still hear you. I don't know if can someone else confirm if they can't say it.
I can't hear it.
Okay, thank you. I think she's having network glitch or network issues. Mr. Emily, please can you just drop the answer to the question in the chat box? Thank you. The question again, with social media and technology constantly evolving, how can designers stay ahead and ensure that their visuals remain relevant and engaging? Yeah, please can you just um give me answers in the chat box since I can't hear you clearly. My second question is directed to Ms. Sophia, our second speaker. Um, the question is, How do you balance creativity, yeah, with keeping design simple and easy to understand? Like how can we balance creativity with keeping our design simple and easy to understand? Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So now, first thing is, as a designer, before you can start your design, what you need to do first is do some research. So that way you'll be able to have a lot of ideas and pick the ones that you want to, because this is still like an artist. So don't just um do what you see there. So they're trying to generate different kind of inspiration so that when you want to design yours, you have enough ideas and you can pour out your creativity there. How do you balance it? How do you balance it? What? Come again.
How do you balance creativity with keeping your design simple and easy to understand? Okay, we want to be creative, but how do
Yeah.
we balance it with
Yeah.
keeping
So
our
now,
design simple?
yes. So everything is like I mentioned before that when you add too much content to your design and the one that is more relevant is not there. So one thing is in design, simplicity is the key. Like we need to make things simple and also pass that message. You don't need to bring too much content for you to pass your information. Even though you have too much listen, now AI is involved, you can rephrase it. You can tell AI to give you a catchy content and it will be not, so you now that you are the woman now you need to check if this content that AI has provided is it giving that message, is it passing that message. So you don't need to have two more things before you can pass a message. You reduce them so that at least they will get the information that is more vital, not like the ones that are not relevant and everything is there. So that's simplicity, design that is very simple and also pass information. So now you know that in your design you want to have image, you want to have content, you want to have maybe a body text, you want to have a call to action. All these are necessary. You need to know how to arrange them. You need to know the kind of image that you want to use to give this information. I'm also mentioning that your content should align with your image, even though if the first thing I'm able to see first in your design is the image, that image should have passed something, should have tell me something in what your content is. So even though I'm now after I've already seen the image, then I check the second. You know, after you've seen the image, maybe the image grabs your attention first, then you go back to the content at the second. At that time, the thing that the image has already given you, you will be able to understand better. It's not as if you're not getting what the image is saying, but at least it will resonate and you know that okay, this is not confusing. That's how to put things together to balance things. Simplicity. You don't need to add when they call something simplicity or what something is simple. You don't need to put too much things in your design before you can sell your market or before you can drop give them this information. Little things helps, and with that they'll be able to grab the one that is more relevant out of those things that are already dropped there. Creativity too happens when you have different ideas and you're able to join everything together to make your own creativity. There is sketching, you can sketch out something, but these are the things that I want to put in. These are how this design should be, these are everything. So you need to do you need to look for inspiration first, do your research. That's the first thing before you start designing. Don't just say, okay, they gave me design now, let me just go and design. No, look for inspiration outside. Check Pinterest, check Dribble. Even though sometimes go back to Google, type the kind of design you want. Maybe you want a carousel design, type it on Google. You see the different kind of inspirations from there. That way you're getting some ideas and you'll be able to know how to join everything together to make your own design more creative. I think I was able to answer the question.
Yes, thank you very much. Definitely you were able to answer my question. Welcome back, Miss Ayomide. I don't know if you can hear me clearly now. I would be asking my question. Okay, I'll be asking my question again. The question was, with social media and technology constantly evolving, how can designers stay relevant, and how can their visuals remain relevant and engaging? Like we know with the rise of ChatGPT, like designers are, I won't say scared, but in quotes scared that okay, ChatGPT might overtake them or take their work. Stay how can designers stay relevant? Yeah, that's the question.
Okay, thank you for the question. Yeah, so what I would say is they understand that there are lots of trends now. Yes, there's AI, there's ChatGPT, especially. Everyone uses ChatGPT, but it's important for us to understand that ChatGPT is actually here to help us. So in time past, you would see that while trying to create a design, instead of having to take your time to write, let's say I'm trying to create a project just for myself, just to practice, right? We'll see people use dummy text. Lorem ipsum, it was very popular back then. But you would know that if I create a design, right, and I use lorem ipsum, and I create another design and I use actual text, you'll see that the one with actual text communicates better with the user, and it also feels better compared to when you just see lorem ipsum, and different gibberish text just to fill the text, just fill the, let's say, the space and the cards, whatever it is you are designing. But now with ChatGPT, you can create content, you can create your copies, it can give you inspiration. You can speak to ChatGPT and get inspiration regarding the project you are working on. It can help you. So one thing ChatGPT does is when let's say you go to let's say Safari or Chrome, then you search for something, it brings up different search results. So now trying to find the valuable ones is where the work is. So you have to now start scrolling through the results that your browser gives you and trying to pick out the valuable ones. But with ChatGPT, it helps you find out what exactly you are looking for without you going through the stress of now, going through every link that your browser produces and trying to pick out what is relevant to what you're trying to say. So ChatGPT is more direct. It's easier to work with. It helps your work. It helps you work better. It helps you work faster. So instead of trying to maybe think of a copy, use ChatGPT, tell it what you want. It will, as long as you're able to communicate what you're trying to achieve to it, it's going to help you and it's definitely going to make your work easier and faster. So I think instead of being scared, we just need to know how to optimize and use it well to our own gain. For example, now you can go to ChatGPT and type, I'm a product designer, I'm trying to design so how can you help me? It will list out the ways that it can help you get better at that design. It can give suggestions. Let's say, for example, you're working in a particular dashboard and you are trying to figure out something. It can help you with that, right? So I feel like it's not something that we need to be scared of. It's rather here to help us, and it will help us be better at what we do, and we just need to maximize it. Yeah, so that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Amide, for that answer. Yeah, there's another question in the chat box by Toib. He said, how can brands measure the effectiveness of their visuals and what metrics should they track? He didn't note the speaker, if any speaker would like to answer that. Okay.
Okay, so I would like to speak to that, right? So yeah, in terms of we're talking about our visuals, and it's important that we're able to also track like how effective it is, and also know that okay, we're not just saying these things. What we are doing also matches what we are saying, right? So for example, let's say let me use graphics first. I design a flyer, right? An e-flyer. Definitely, I'm not designing the flyer to just look at it myself. Yeah, I may want to have fun and just look at it myself, but in most cases, as a brand, right, a company, an upcoming startup, yeah, so whatever it is they are doing, they are definitely going to post it on social media, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, TikTok, we post it across different social media, right? And one metric, I mean, I'm posting a design, I keep posting the same design, and no one is liking it, no one is commenting. For see, I think TikTok, yeah, TikTok does something. So if you look through your what's that, your insights, you're going to see how long the user stayed on that particular post. You see how long they viewed it. So from that, you're able to know that, okay, we're able to like catch their attention, right? Because if you are designing something and almost everybody's just spending less than 1 second on it, it means that you need to do better. Right? And also you can also take feedback from people, you can take feedback from users, you can hear their opinion and know exactly what they are saying about it. Then I would also use websites also as an example. So there's this, I can't remember exactly, but there's this website that you can use to track your visuals in terms of effectiveness and ensuring that you're passing the message. So on this website, once you input your your link, right? It will tell you how it will first let maybe two users use it. It will ask them what they're able to derive from it. So number one, that way you are seeing that this message you're passing is as clear as it needs to be. The user is giving you real-time feedback, right? And even from your own also personal easy A/B testing. Yes, you can do testing, usability testing. Hear from your user, hear what they are saying, ask them questions, and get their feedback. Then I feel like in a startup, let me say for example, you are not going to be the only one. You have friends, you have people around you. You can ask questions. You can also like make that conscious effort by yourself to ensure that this thing I'm doing, what do you think? There's sometimes I'm creating a design and I call my sister or my brother or anyone around and say, okay, what can you derive from this? Then they tell me because they are looking at it from another perspective. They're not looking at it from the perspective I'm looking at it as a designer. So they're able to give fresh perspectives and give feedback. So, I mean, if you ask someone, do you think this looks good? Everyone knows things that look good. You cannot tell me that someone will tell you, I'm not sure if it looks good or not. It's clear. There's a way you say, oh no, this looks pretty, this looks good. We all can give comments on that. So you can also measure it through that. Yeah, that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emide. I'm sure that has answered Toib's question. Um, yeah, without wasting any time, we would be going on to the next agenda for the day. I don't know if Ariat has anything to share with us before we um say our final words and close the um final words for the event and close the session. Ariat, please, do you have anything to share with us again? Or okay, I'll take that as a no. So thank you very much to our amazing speakers. That was a very insightful and knowledge-packed session. I learned a lot, and I'm sure each and every one of us took things away from these sessions, from this session that we just had. Thank you very much to our amazing speaker, Miss Ayomide and Miss Sofiat. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. Please let us try to fill the digital feedback form that was sent to the chat box, as it will help us to get your feedback on this event and your basically your feedback. I don't know if any of our speakers would like to add anything or say anything before we call it a day. Before we call it a day, and yeah, would any of our speaker or anybody does anybody want to add anything to what has been said, or does anybody want to say anything basically?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll just say that we designers, we should also, one thing we should, apart from this topic, getting feedback also really matters, and how we also accept or how we received feedbacks too also matters. Um, don't say that the way they, maybe your designer, because they're giving you feedback, maybe negative feedback, for example, and maybe it's not you, it's your design. Because another thing is giving feedbacks to your design, like maybe you're in a startup and your colleagues or someone or anybody review your design and they're already giving you that feedback, the one that's designed to improve. So it's not because of you, or it's not you they're talking to, it's the design they're talking to. So we should also put this at the back of our mind that any feedback given is for us to be able to improve on the design, not not us. You understand? So I think that's what I want to add to it, and also helps us so that with that feedback and with us able to improve on the designs, it will also make our designs to last um longer before people can stroll up. So back to the topic now. Yeah, so it's help each other, feedback and grabbing attention and everything. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Miss Sophia, for that. Yeah, so we'll be calling it a day, and I would just like to add, if you would like to partake or benefit from any of Bincom Dev Center services, the link is in the chat box. Please let us try to use the link, and let us all try to fill the feedback form, as it will help Bincom Dev Center to know your feedback about this event. If you also enjoyed the session, you can stay connected with Bincom Dev Center. You can follow us on social media, on all our social media, and from LinkedIn to Facebook to Instagram at Bincom Dev Center. And yeah, let's stay connected. And thank you very much to everyone for joining. Thank you very much to our speakers. Thank you very much to our hosts. That's me. Thank you very much to Miss Ariat also. So thank you very much and have a great day. Thank you. Yeah, we are through with the events. We can all drop off. Thank you very much for joining
Bye.
the event. Yeah, is someone trying to say something, please?
No, I said bye. Wait, wait, wait.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, bye.